Hi and very welcome to Michel Franco and Darío Yazbek Bernal. It's great to have you here with us. And you're just coming from Venice, where your movie Nuevo Orden won the Grand Prix. We can see the silver lion over there. So, Michel, what can you tell us about this Grand Prix?
It's one of the top prizes at the most important film festival, the oldest. Also a festival that has been very kind to Mexicans in the last few years. Since 2015, where we won the Golden Lion with Desde Allá, which I was a producer, Tiguardo. Right after that, Cuarón and Del Toro, Amat Escalante. We've been winning top prizes every year, so this is fabulous for the movie, for Mexican cinema, and mostly it helps for Nuevo Orden to reach Italian audiences, which is our top priority.
Let's talk about the movie. This morning we had the opportunity to actually view a screening of Nuevo Orden, and my impression was that it is absolutely an amazing movie in terms of its contents and also the way that you actually realized it. So, but where did the idea come from?
Well, thanks for your kind words. The idea came out of my fears, obsessions, and about trying to figure where the world was heading. About 6-7 years ago, when I started seeing that the extreme right was rising in Europe, and we seem to be going back 80 years, and the amount of poor people everywhere, starting with Mexico, country with 60 million poor people who are living without the basic necessities, the fact that classism and racism are still we like thinking that that's behind, but then you see Black Lives Matter, and the African American population is still having to put out a fight just to find equal, just to not get killed by policemen out on the street for the fact that for the color of your skin. And this whole thing triggered 6 years ago the necessity to write this. Took me a long time to understand how to translate that into a movie, and it's not a conventional story, and it has 8 different points of view. It's a study of a whole country that is Mexico, could be any other country, set in the near future. So it was very challenging for me.
I would say that the message within the movie is really universal. Do you think that somehow we can take your movie as some kind of alarm to humankind, to actually, figure out which would be the worst case scenario?
It's not even the worst case what I'm portraying. It's what I'm portraying is, everything explodes, but then the way it's controlled and what happens after, it's not even the worst scenario. So the purpose of the movie is definitely to say, let's not arrive there. That's why it's worth it. Watching and why we put such an effort into doing. It's not a message, because I don't think filmmakers are entitled to educate or anything. But the reason why it's worth watching is to trigger a conversation and not arriving to this point.
Many of the critics have said that there is something of Orwellian philosophy behind your movie. Do you feel that that might be some kind of inspiration for you, or not really?
Well, I'll take it as a compliment, of course. When I read 1984 again a couple of years ago when I was writing the script, it's incredible how accurate it is in many ways, how close it's to home several decades later. So he was a visionary. I think films and books literature and cinema can really we work from our guts and our we're not. It's not a specific science. We're not saying this will happen. We have all the freedom, and we can free our minds and simply imagine this. And often it helps the world to understand where we're headed, or to work as a mirror. So yeah, why not to believe it's got an Orwellian way, taste? Why not?
And Dario, how was it for you to work with Michel for this movie?
Yes. Well, I mean, I worked with Michel now in 4 films, so for me it was a kind of, it's family, it feels like family. And I think also Michel is very good at doing that. He creates a team, and that team feels like we're not working. It feels like we're having fun, even though what's going on in front of the camera is not fun at all. But it's fun in the sense that it's a game, and there's a liberty to create, and there's a freedom to explore. And I think, especially this film that comes from such an emotional perspective, it needed that freedom, because we were all trying to find out what we wanted to say with this, and I think that was a very interesting experience. And it's also, in many ways, how I think a lot of art should be done, which is, it's here to put a question. It's not here to tell you what to do. And I think this film started with a question, and it started with something that was just there in the mind of all of us, and then it was very good to keep together and put it in place. And also, I mean, even I am flattered when they talk to you about Orwell, comparing it to Orwell. But I find it very interesting also the fact that violence is something that it's this sort of like point of no return. There's no morality in violence. There's no morality in war. There's no morality in these things, and it's very interesting to think about it in that sense, because when we were doing the film, we had to sort of like have these two worlds happen: the world of violence and the world of the people that are trying to say, well, the bourgeoisie in this case, that is trying to act as if everything's okay, and act as if, yeah, why not, let's do a wedding while the country's just falling apart. No, it's a bit like like the Titanic.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I think that people just try to pretend that nothing's wrong, but clearly everything around them is falling apart. And I think these two relationships is just a very interesting way to also play a character, you know, and then to play with the others, which is, we're creating a world where we have no real sort of like understanding, or we don't want to understand what's going on outside. And that's a very interesting allegory in terms of how we are living these days.
And where do you see, say, this movie in the future? I mean, like, of course, you know, Venice has been a great place, like, to actually, you know, showcase it, and also, you know, you won this very important prize. So, some people are saying maybe, you know, this could be a movie that, you know, could actually go to the Oscars, and you know, would you aspire, like, you know, to something like this?
I don't think in terms of Oscars or not even prizes. I think, and I'm very ambitious in that way for this movie particularly, I think in terms of audiences worldwide. So of course, if it gets mixed as it's getting now with, you know, the attention that the Leone brings, translates in audiences in Italy, if the same principle follows with the Oscars and whatever other recognition the film and the work of all the actors and technicians can have, then it's fantastic. But it's not so much because, you know, we want recognition, we want audiences, we want the film to be discussed. We think that it can serve different countries, and according to their own realities, they can see themselves portrayed in the movie somehow, and that's the whole point.
One thing that really was curious for me in the movie was actually the way the army did act. You don't know if, you know, they can be somehow the good guys, the bad guys. At a certain point, like, it feels like the army is somehow split, you know, in its own organization. Why did you think about, you know, the army in this way?
historically, it's never been a good idea, and I challenge anyone, anywhere. I don't mind if you're left, right, center, Mexican, Italian, Chinese, wherever you're from and from any era, any historical period. Tell me when it was a great idea to put the military everywhere, in full command, in full power. And in Latin and South America, there's a tradition within the last few decades of dictatorship governments, of course, based on military control. And these institutions, on top of everything that they do to harm and to keep a horrible control, they are corrupt. And they're ignorant, and they hate culture, and they hate anyone and anything that's different. So there's very, very little hope if we put our faith in our lives in the faith in control of the armies. That's to me, there's a lot of ambiguity in the film, and there's a lot of it's open for discussion. But this particular thing, it's super easy.
Yes, I mean what we were saying before, that there's no morality in war, there's no morality in violence, and the army exerts its force through violence. So therefore, you can't really trust something that kind of exists in this very kind of strange world. And I think the film does a very good job in doing that, because from a sort of like a storytelling perspective, you want the army to come and just save everybody, and this will be the end. But no, the actual nightmare starts when the army comes in.
Somehow, they say that the images that you actually built in this movie can be tough, in certain moments to watch. But I appreciated very much, this raw vision of what reality could be if things can go the wrong way. I think that it's very good that you are actually giving this alarm to humankind, because with what we are living today, the pandemic, and we're kind of having a moment of reflection on how the world has been, and how the world could be. So the message to me, it's very positive, the message that you are giving, because you're giving the possibility to reflect that the world can actually change its course. So and that's something really, really good.
I think the only way to start changing is to talk openly about our trouble, our concerns, about what we're doing wrong, and to acknowledge it. And the worst we can do is to, as we say in Spanish, to put it under the rug, no? Se dice así en inglés, to just hide the problems.
Yes.
Some people ask me, aren't you concerned that certain authorities will be angry because you're talking about things in a certain way? I think it's the opposite. Let's talk openly about everything, and then we can start healing. And the reason why violence is portrayed in the movie in a realistic way is because as a director, I gotta commit. I couldn't show violence in a enjoyable way, and also it's not too graphic. It was about finding the right balance between what adds to the conversation and what shows us where we're headed, but not to overdo it, because if you overdo it, then the audience gets shut down, and we lose the communication, the dialogue stops.
Say on set, while you were shooting, what was the atmosphere? Can you tell us maybe some anecdotes while shooting the movie, something that stays with you?
I can tell you, for example, the wedding was almost like a wedding. Like it was full of friends. Even
4-day wedding. 4-day wedding, no? It was
sí, like a 4-day wedding, like an Arab wedding. And many of of course, the main actors, but also secondary or extras are friends of mine. Like for example, among the crowd there's a painter of the painting that appears in the movie. It's one of the people, partying there. So that was nice. And then many people wonder about the workhouse, or the place where the military are controlling and abusing people. That was even magical. It was like a workshop for actors, and true actors want to be pushed to their limits and want to explore the darkness within themselves. And all the military that appear in the movie are real soldiers or ex-soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing it almost for real, but always within an atmosphere of trust and friendship and with a lot of respect. So it was quite magical. There's a making of with a lot of interviews from that moment, and I think it's something special.
Great. And you, Dario?
There's a lot, I think, and also Michel said it right. It felt like the wedding specifically. It felt like there was a big long 2-week wedding that we were there, and then we were dancing, woo, and then cut to the scene where somebody jumps in, and but it all felt that I had a reason to be there, and everyone was open to this, and that's so actually very special. After being in several different sets, I think the first time I really felt that everybody was 100%, and I mean not only actors, Michel the director, the Opino, absolutely everyone was in the project, and they knew what they were doing, and it just felt like we were doing something, and that gives you a lot of freedom also to play. But there's a very interesting moment that we were doing the library scene where they put everybody against the wall in the library, and there was a lot of we had to do a lot of shots when they were like hitting you, when they were like pushing you on the floor, and because it had to look real. And I mean, we were having fun with the actors, with the other actors that were hitting us and everything, because it just felt like we were doing something we had never done before. And playing this game was a very, very interesting thing. And I remember that there was a scene that they cut that they like slapped me, like, bah! No? And I just felt like I was doing I don't know, it's gonna sound very stupid, but at some point we were joking it was a telenovela slap, no? Because they told me, but it's true, and that's how it looks, and that's how it feels, and the whole thing is, it's about that. So that choreography, I was very interested because I had never done it before. So like a choreography of like an action movie almost. But yeah, I agree with. Yeah, I mean,
we had fun. We had lots of fun.
And then when they broke stuff as well, it was very. I mean, it's fun to do that, you know, to grab like this and break it. And
it was fun.
Yeah.
That's great. So I really thank you for being with us today, and I wish you all the best with the Nuevo Orden. We know that I Wonder is going to distribute the movie for Italy, and so I wish you to find more distributors around the world.
Grazie mille.